Alright guys, today we are talking about my bike crash. Jeez, we're talking about my bike crash today. This happened almost, how long has it been? About 8 months, right? Yeah, 8 months since I've been hit by a car. So that's fun-ish. But, we're going to be talking about that, obviously, like I just said. Might get lost in my train of thought and start talking about something else, but that's not the point. The main point is for this video is to talk about my bike crash, or I guess my accident, because it wasn't like a motorcycle or dirt bike, it was my bicycle. Not this one. This one's a different one. So the story starts with, I'm going to go from like the very beginning of that day and then to the point, and then a little bit after. So the very beginning of that fateful day, I was just chilling, minding my own business, hanging out. I think I rode my bike that morning a little bit, and then this was also in the middle of summer. This was June, I think June like 13th. Yeah, it was June 13th, I remember now. I was riding my old bike in that morning, and then I went to my friend's house and we hung out for a little bit. I remember that exact outfit I was wearing too. I was wearing like one of my favorite pairs of shorts at that time, a shirt that looked pretty cool, and these shoes actually. It was these shoes, these white Adidas shoes. Can't really show you guys. And that was pretty much like my outfit. Obviously, like socks and other things, but I actually have a little like scrape something right here on my glasses from it. Not gonna lie, that car is moving. Anyways, yeah. So I was hit. So that morning, I think I like rode my bike. I was pretty sure I rode my bike, and then I went to my friend's house for like a few hours. It was a while. I went there at like noon. Left at noon, and then came back around dinner. Ate dinner. A few hours later, and since it was the middle of summer, the sun went down at like 9 o'clock, so I was out for a while. It was 8 o'clock when I first went out, I'm pretty sure, like 7 something. It was pretty sure 8 o'clock. I went out with my phone in my pocket, same outfit and everything, but I actually put on my Spider-Man hoodie that I was wearing in the last video, and so that was interesting. That one's still on the right arm, because this is my right. The camera might be, it's probably reversed. The right arm is thinner where the elbow is, and I actually have a scar there now, if you can kind of see it. Yeah, it's right there. I have a scar now. And we're going to talk about my injuries, too. What was my last thought? Oh, yeah, I was wearing that Spider-Man hoodie, the gray one. And I was riding around my neighborhood area, and the sunset looked pretty cool that day. I saw pictures, if I can find one, that I like. It wasn't as cool as it could have been. Kind of looked like today, actually, which is kind of giving me anxiety a little bit, riding my bike and stuff. But speaking of outfits, I really like this outfit. It looks pretty good on me, I'd say. Like, I wasn't wearing these shoes to school and all that, but I was wearing my black ones, and pretty sure this outfit looked pretty cool. Pretty sure if I had the white shoes, it'd look a lot better, but that's the point. The point is, see, I'm getting sidetracked. ADHD, man. Yeah, but I was riding around for like 30 minutes, and I took it was like 20 minutes, and I hated riding with my phone in my pocket. I usually wear a bag, my blue bag, that I don't have on me, obviously. I usually wear that, but this day, I was like, I'll be fine. So I had my phone in my pocket, I took a few pictures. Here's at least one, maybe another one. I think I just did one. I can't think straight, apparently. I think this would be the second picture I just showed, yeah. So there's those pictures of the sunset that day. And then after those pictures, I went up here, actually, this area, and I was just hanging out thinking about, because this was exactly 2 weeks after I got broken up with by my ex, E. She broke up with me, and exactly 2 weeks later, to the day, hit by a car. Not ideal. So that was interesting. So I came up here and I was just like, okay, I really need to get over her. This was like that was the day I was like, I need to get over her. And I was like, I want to come up here. I want to ride by her area to like officially be like, all right, I'm done with her, all that. But I'm gonna drop off my phone real quick so I can ride around for a little bit too. So I stood up here for like 10 minutes. It was around 8:30ish at this point, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna head home, drop off my phone, come back. And that's exactly what I did. I went straight home, dropped off my phone, and that's the key thing. I dropped off my phone at my house and I left. I even was like, I'll be back to my dad. And I was riding, and then I went up through that area right there that I'm not really gonna put the camera at. Actually, I probably am. Yeah, I am. Through that area right there, I was riding around through there. I came up farther down, and I went all the way around through this area over, not down here. I was on the other side of those houses right there. I went down, it curves right there, it goes down. I passed one thing, what is it called? Intersection thingy right there, and there was another one. It's a four-way intersection thing. And I made it to the other one. I had the stop sign. We good? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I had the stop sign, so this whole accident is pretty much my fault. There are some things that they could have done that could have avoided it. But I would consider most of it my fault. I don't want that cone in the camera. But I would consider most of the accident my fault. I won't lie. I will own up to that. So I was riding, like I said, and it was around 8:40-ish, I think. I don't remember when the pictures I took, and when I showed those pictures earlier, I'll like make sure I have it where the time was shown and all that. I think. I might not do that. It really depends. I might forget or something. Anyways, so yeah, I rode by there, and then after I passed that first intersection thing right there, there was another one, and I had a stop sign, and I was in the neighborhood. I was going like maybe 20 to 25 miles per hour on my bike. Not even. I was probably going like 15 to 20. Now that I think about it, because my bike, I couldn't get that much speed that fast. Maybe I was going 25. I don't know. I was going faster. And I was going. And I remember this exact moment. Because after I passed that first intersection thing, I was going. And there was a white SUV that turned towards me. And I was like, oh. And I was in the middle of the road. So it was like this. If you can see that. They were coming at me. And I was like, oh, let's not get hit by a car. I literally said that in my head. I thought to myself, I was like, oh, let's not get hit by a car. So I went to the right, obviously, so then we passed each other. They passed me. They started turning on that first four-way intersection. They turned down towards the houses. So they didn't even see this happen. I was still going, and I even looked left. Like, I was originally I'm going to go back. So when I first went through that area, before I hit the first four-way intersection, I was just sitting there like this, no hands on I wasn't holding my handlebars or anything. I was coming up on that intersection, so I grabbed my handlebar with my back brake, and I was like, and I had my fingers on it just in case I needed to use it, but I was like, okay, we're good. So I was using one hand. As soon as I saw that white SUV, I grabbed with two hands, went over, and I was like touching my left handlebar a little bit, and I was ready to let go completely. And then I looked left at the first part, and I was like, okay, no cars. And I was trying to look right, but there was a truck with a trailer right there, like a pickup truck with a trailer attached. And I couldn't see around the truck. I thought I saw a car, but I was like, maybe it was parked, because people park on the sides of the roads here all the time. It's like a norm. And I was like, okay, whatever. So I was still going. I even like tapped the brake a little bit, just like I think, because I was like, did I just see a car? So I tapped the brake, and I was like, no, I didn't. And I grabbed the handlebars fully, just in case I did. And then I saw the car coming at me. And at this moment, that's when I completely was like, there's no way I'm getting hit by a car right now. There's no way. I'm not actually going to get hit. I'm not that lucky per se, or that unlucky. There's no way. So when I saw them coming, I was like, oh, they're not stopping. And I remember in like slow motion, it was like they were here, here, here. And I was like, oh, shoot, they're like right in front of me. So instead of slamming on the brakes, because I didn't want to flip over the handlebars or something, I slowly but fast, I went like that on my brakes, like slowly and fast at the same time, and turned to the left, turned, and that's the only reason that it went from like this, a dead-on collision where this is me going, and then going like that and hitting me like that, to this, where I went in and we both went like that, and I bounced off their car and hit it on the ground, and they stopped immediately. Like right after. And Because when I saw them, I slammed the brakes and turned, like I said. And then I was like, there's no way I actually just got hit. And when after I hit, I was like, there's no way. I was like freaking out. I was like, no way, this just happened, man. And I remember I was just this close to their car, and I was like, what the heck? And I was just on, like, the world was spinning for a second, and then I was on the ground, and I was laying on the ground, and my bike was on, like, my bike frame was like, oof, can't bounce, halfway up my leg down, like a little bit, and my other leg was on top of my back tire. My right leg was on top of my back tire, and my left leg was underneath. And the one thing I regret doing, but I only did this to like assure them that I was okay, is I immediately stood up. And I do regret doing that only because I like shouldn't have, because I'm pretty sure that made some of my injuries worse, like my leg injury. But that's not the point. So yeah. And I stood up and I picked up my bike. I grabbed my glasses first because they flew off my face. And my lenses weren't messed up. It's just a little scratch, like right there or something like that. And I picked up my bike and I put the kickstand down, and they were like, hey, are you okay? Okay? And I was like, yeah, I'm good. And I was like looking down at my bike, and I was about to pick it up. I'm going back a little bit. I was looking down at my bike, about to pick it up, and then all I heard was, are you alright? Are you alright? And I was like, are you alright? And I was like, yeah. Because he was like, are you alright? And he said my name, and I look up, and I was like, you've got to be kidding me. Because I knew the kid, and he knew me, because we were, like, best friends in 5th grade. And then we kind of, like, grew apart from there. And I was like, there's no way. And I was like, okay, great. And his dad was like, are you okay? Obviously. And he was like, you know this kid? He was like, yeah, we met in 5th grade or whatever. And I was like, there's no way. His mom was driving, and she was freaking out. And she was like, are you okay? You okay? And I was like, yeah, I'm fine. She was like, can I, like, take you home, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, no, I don't want to bother you. Okay, there's people coming. Why? Yeah, but I was like, okay, I'm okay. No, you don't need to, like, drive me to my house or anything like that. You're good. I was like, it's my fault, whatever. And they're like, okay, like, are you sure? They asked me if I was okay, and I'm sure, like, not getting a ride or anything, like, 80 times. And they're like, they asked me about my injuries, and I was like, I mean, my leg kind of hurts a little bit, and I did this, and I was like, my arm too, and I looked at it, and I was like, huh, because there was blood here to, like, here, but the injury was, like, this big. The scar that I have was as big as the injury, and it went up to here. A little bit of it was road rash, not gonna lie, and I was like, there's no way. I was genuinely like, there's no way I was just hit, bro. And I was like, no, I'm good, I can just walk home. Keep in mind, I am currently, right now even, I am a mile away from my house. So, even my old house, I'm a mile away from that house, too. And I was like, no, I'm good, I can just walk, we're good. Like, I live nearby. And they're like, okay. So, once I was like, is your car okay? And they're like, I don't care about the car. And I was like, well, I hate your car, so there's going to be some damage. They had, like, a slight dent on their trim where the window is. I was like, bro. My bike got a little messed up. Like, the chain was messed up. The handlebars got turned, and so did my seat, but we fixed those pretty easy. But the main point was, like, my chain got messed up, so... And I just got brand new pedals. These pedals on my bike right now are the old ones. Are the ones that I took off that old bike that I got hit by a car on. So there's actually a bunch of scrapes on the side. Some of it at the bottom is from me scraping the ground because this bike is lower. But some of the other scratches are from me getting hit by a car. And I was like, bro, really? But that's not the point. But after I got up and, like, we separated, I was walking with my bike because I wasn't about to ride home, bro. I was like, nah, I just got hit by a car. I need to process it, and it hurt. And I started walking, and I was already kind of walking with a limp. I was, like, barely limping. I was, like barely doing it while walking on my bike. And I stepped up the curb, and I used my left leg first because my right leg was the one that was injured, my right leg. And so I stepped up with my left foot first. I picked up, and I pulled up my bike and we started going. And I was like, huh, that, like, hurt a lot more than it should have. I was walking, and they drove by me slowly, like, making sure I was, like, good. And they kept going. They even asked me, like, are you sure? And I was like, yeah, I'm good, you're good. And I was like, we're good. And I was just walking down, and I was like, okay, kind of getting worse. And I had adrenaline pumping through me. That's why it didn't hurt immediately. And I was like, okay, it's kind of getting worse. That's not ideal. But I was just walking, and I made it about halfway to my house, maybe a little bit. No, I was halfway to my house. And that's when I was like, I'm like limping a lot harder now. What happens if I try to walk normally? I tried, and the most pain shot down my leg and like up my back on the right side into my neck, and I was like, I tensed up. I was like, ow. And tensing up, actually, when I realized I was like, okay, I'm getting hit right now, I actually let loose, because if you stay tense, that will actually like get you more injured. So I let loose a little bit, but I was trying to like move. That's why my leg actually got hurt, because I tried to like move it away from the car. I was trying to like lean away from it farther, so that's why I got more hurt. But that's not the point. And also I slammed against their left side of their car. My right side slammed against their left, so that's not ideal. But when I was walking home, I was like, ow, crap. And I was like, that really hurt, dog. And I was just walking, and like I was like, it's all my fault, it's all my fault, it's all my fault. I was like telling myself it's like all my fault, but I was like, there's also things that they could have changed. Like how I said, they were going and they didn't slow down at all. They were going 25 plus, maybe even like 30s, like 30 plus maybe, and they didn't slow down until after I was already on the ground. And so that's why I think that they should have changed, like maybe slow down a little bit once they like saw that hey, he's not stopping. But that's not, like, it's too late now, can't really go back on it. But yeah, I was walking home about halfway, it got really bad, so I was limping really hard all the way home. I was kind of using my bike as like leverage. I was like leaning against it and all that. And then I remember this specifically, I left my garage open because I was like, I'm gonna come home in like 30 minutes anyways, because the sun will go down, because it's like it's like almost 9 o'clock. It was actually like around 9 when I got home. Maybe I got hit earlier, I don't know, I don't remember. Maybe it was like 7 when I got hit, I don't know. Not like 8 when I got hit instead of closer to 9. But I got home, I like, turned down my street. I was walking in the road because you have to like go through a bunch of like turns and stuff to get down to where my house was. I was walking down, I turned right down my road, and I was limping, and I was like, thank goodness, bro. Like, I was like, thank you, bro, for leaving the garage open. I like limped all the way up there, parked my bike in like the worst position ever, walked out, like borderline was running inside at this point because it hurt so bad. I just want to like tell my family and just sit down or something and like shower and like clean up, you know. And I was like kind of sweaty. I was like just was sweating, and I was injured. Obviously, it hurt really bad, and I closed the garage. Obviously, I walked in. I went straight to my dad's room. I stood there for a second with my sleeves still rolled up like this. It's just my gray hoodie, and I was standing there leaning against my left leg because this one didn't hurt at all. Like, my whole left side was fine. My elbow and my leg, like my upper leg, where my butt is, bro, was hurting, bro. I was like, dog, really? And my dad was like, yeah. Like, he actually said, you good? And I was like, no, I just got hit by a car. And he was like, what, really? He was like, really? And I was like, yeah. And that's when my body was like, this seems like the perfect time to cry. And I was like, bro, no, leave me alone. And I was like, bro, I don't even know I'm crying. I already dealt with the whole process. I was like, okay, yeah, I got hit. It hurts really bad. Whatever. I didn't even cry yet, bro. That was the first time I cried. I was like, why? Why am I crying, bro? It made no sense. And I was like, whatever. I'll be fine, bro. And then I, like, got over it pretty quick because I was laughing when I was telling him. And I was like, yeah, I was hit. And I explained the whole thing to him. And he was like, okay. He's like, where does it hurt? And I was like, my elbow. Like, I showed him, and he was like, oh, dang, that's probably going to scar. And I was like, yeah, probably. And I was like, and my leg. And he was checking all my injuries. This wasn't, like, I have to clarify, he was checking my injuries, and, like, I showed him, and it was just a giant scratch on my, like, lower back, right here, to, like, about the middle of my butt. And I was like, dang. And I had a little bit of road rash here and stuff, and a little bit of road rash here, bro. But that's not the point. I don't like that it happened right here, bro. Why? Why right here? Why? That was not fun. So yeah, and then my mom was actually in the bath. We told her, and she was like, what? And we heard her get out, and she wrapped a towel around her and came out so fast. And she was like, "You really?" And I explained the whole situation to her, and she was like, "Oh my god, like oh my god," and I was like, "I'm good, I'm good." My sister came up, and my brother heard about it. Everybody heard about it, and they were all like, "No way!" And I was like, "Yeah, it happened." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go shower now to get all the road rash out and all the, like not the road rash, all the like gravel and stuff out of my arm, all the blood off and all that stuff." So that's what I did. I went and showered. It hurt so bad. It burned here really bad, and I couldn't even stand upright. And I was like scared I was gonna slip and die. Couldn't even wash my like body completely, bro. I like was able to kind of soap up my left leg. Like, I did this really quickly, but it hurt to bend this leg, so I was like doing this and barely bending it and trying that way. And I was like, "There's no way, bro." And when I got out, I dried myself off, and I was good. And then I sat down upstairs on the couch. I was gonna watch TV, but I couldn't even sit. I had to lean against my whole left side because my right side hurt too much. And I was like, "Thank goodness, bro, that we positioned the furniture where I sit on the left side so I can see the TV better." But even that, when I was sitting there like that, it hurt to move, bro. And when I went to bed that night, it was even worse, bro. Like I hated going to bed that night so much. Like I laid down, obviously, and I couldn't. I was like, "Bro, thank you for being a stomach." I was like, "Thank God for being a stomach sleeper, bro. Thank God." Because if I wasn't a stomach sleeper, oh no, there's no way. But I was like mainly on like my left side. I was like this because usually I sleep like that because I'm right-handed. So I had to do that for like a week, and it hurt to even move. And I remember that night, all of the dreams. It wasn't even dreams. It was night terrors and like nightmares and stuff that I was having. Were centered around that accident and how it could have gone way worse, way better, whatever. Like at first it was me changing it up, then it progressively got like more gruesome and stuff. And I was like, no. And I remember the most gruesome one, where instead of me turning last second, they hit me dead on. Is when I kicked my right leg, and that hurt so bad. I woke up and I legit was like, ah. And I was like, "That dude, it's like 3 in the morning, bro. I need to calm down." I was like, "I need to figure this out." And I couldn't even fall asleep immediately. I fell asleep around 12:30 when I went to bed at like 11:30 or something. No, I went to bed at 12. Fell asleep at 12:30, which is way slower than normal, especially because I was tired. And I was like, "There's no way." And I was limping. And then I got up earlier because I freaking was in pain. I was like, "I can't fall back to sleep anymore." I got up. Oh, dude, it kind of looks like that moment right now. It's like the same amount of darkness, bro. This is making me tense up. But, yeah. And I got up and I was limping around for like 3 days. And I was milking it a little bit. Like on like the 4th and 5th day, I was limping a little bit only because it like hurt to go downstairs, not hurt to walk around. But I was milking it at that point. I was like, hey. And I'm pretty sure if I was walking normal, it actually would have been worse. Like through those extra 2 days. But it was like, eh. After like a week, I was fine. And, so yeah. I'm pretty sure that's it, like, all I wanted to say. I wasn't able to ride my bike, obviously, for like a week. And, I actually, like, a week after, I went back on, actually, no, it was after I was, like, healed enough where I could, like, jog. I was able to jog and stuff. I wasn't able to ride or, like, run or anything, because it would hurt. It was about 5 days after I got hit. I went out on my scooter with my brother. He was on his scooter. I was on our electric scooters. We went to the area, and I showed him where it was. I was like, yeah, I was hit right here. And some of the gravel was moved a little bit. I was like, kind of looks like I was hit, but it's not much where you can actually tell, like, hey, something happened right here. And I was like, dang it, man, I wanted it to look obvious. But and after like a full week of not riding, I was able to ride again. But I took it more chill. And speaking of chill, actually, after I dropped off my phone and I went out, I was like, I'm gonna have a chill ride, finally get over her and stuff like I said, just a chill ride and have fun. And that's exactly what happened. That's the exact reason I was hit, because I dropped my guard. Because I was like, let's have a chill ride, so I dropped my guard and I was just like cruising, not thinking about even the possibility of getting hit or anything like that. And for about 2 weeks before that, when I started riding my bike consistently, I was telling my mom all the time, I was like, I'm gonna get hit by a car, bro. I was like, the fact that these people don't know how to drive, bro, I'm gonna get hit. And then I actually did. I foreshadowed it on accident. So, yikes. But I was like, no way. Still, I still kind of, even now, I'm like, still kind of like, how, like, there's no way that I got hit, bro. So that wasn't ideal. And I started riding around again, and then progressively healed more, and I was able to ride a lot harder. And the whole point, which is tomorrow's video actually, the whole point of me riding my bike and stuff all summer, and consistently every day for like I would ride for like 30 minutes to an hour, go home for like 30 minutes to an hour and take a break, and consistently do that all day. And sometimes I'd ride longer, it depends if I'm listening to music and stuff like that. That day I wasn't listening to music because it wasn't this was before my birthday, so I didn't have any of the riding gear that I wanted. So I didn't have like new headphones and the gloves that I was wearing and stuff that I would have been wearing, stuff like that. I was like, dude, what? And on my birthday, when I opened those gloves, I remember I was like, I can actually ride now and I'll be fine. And I was a little nervous when I went out for that first ride, actually. When I was wearing my gloves and my headphones and stuff, and I was listening to music, I was like, this is my first ride that I'm able to get, like, because I was completely healed by that point. Because I remember that week, I wasn't really riding very much because it was my brother's birthday and then my birthday. And I was like, I can ride fully, go full, whatever, I'll be fine. And that's what I did. And I rode hard that day. I rode a lot. I was like, wow, this is insane. Like, I missed this feeling of riding every day, all day, pretty much. And I was like, dang. And, but what I was trying to say is over summer, the reason I was riding so much was because I was bettering myself in a way. I used to be fat. Now I'm not, obviously, but I used to be like a big boy. Just imagine that. I had some food in this belly all the time, per se. So I was a bigger boy, and I was like, I want to change that because I got broken up with, so I wanted to better myself. I was like, I want to work out, I want to change up my style, all that. So I changed up my hairstyle, made it look better and how I wanted it, and like how. Technically, she was like, yeah, it looks better on you, and I was like, okay, but I didn't really listen to her. I just swept my hair over to the side still. I didn't like style it. I would just do that to get out of my eyes. But then I got a haircut to like where it is now, and where it's messy and stuff like this, and and I got skinny and all that, worked out a bunch. And now when it's warm outside and after I'm riding my bike out for hours, my veins will pop out and stuff because I worked out so much and stuff like that. And I actually got a lot stronger too. Now I can do push-ups, which is cool. So yeah. And, but that's another story that I want to tell more about, like, me working out, like, my, what is it called, my weight loss journey. I didn't do it in the greatest way, that's kind of why I want to talk about it, but I also want to talk about how biking got me through that and stuff like that. Helped me with certain stuff, like, certain things. So, yeah, but majority of the time I had fun riding my bike. It was a few moments where I was like, eh. But even then, I was like, I can't wait to go back to school and all that, meet new friends, get new friends, potentially new partners and all that, which there was. There was 2 more. So yeah. And I remember seeing, because my last girlfriend that broke up with me like 3 days ago, I remember seeing her over summer, and it was after I got all my gear and stuff. It was actually a month after I was hit or something. It was like around a month after. I was like, only if she knew. Because me and her were friends-ish, and I was like, only if she knew I was hit by a car. And I thought about telling her, and I was like, nah, we didn't. We just like what's up to each other. We just like that, and that's it. We just did like a what's up nod. And then that was it. And then we dated during like quite a few months later. It was like 6 months, a little over 6 months later, bro. No, it was like 5-6 months later, bro. So there's that. But yeah, that's all for today's video. It's like 6 o'clock. It's actually 6:01 right now. So yeah, that's a wrap for this video. Have a safe, great day. Have fun. Achieve your goals, whatever. Blah blah blah. Don't do anything stupid. Have fun, like, subscribe if you want to. I can control you. Bye-bye!